Hi, good morning, students. This is Miss Rekha, your math teacher. I just want to review the recording of the EOT 3 maths exam. So as you can see on my screen, these are the topics and modules you have for module 3, end of term 3 exam. The modules are module 12, logical arguments and line relationships. Out of this module, you have, I think, 11 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 questions. And 13th module is transformations and symmetry. From this module, you will have 4 questions. And the last module is module 14, triangles and congruence, from where you get 10 questions. So let's do the review one by one. Let's try to complete module 12 first. So from module 12, these are the questions. These questions are not in the order. So from question 1, I'll be jumping to question 18, but all these questions, all these 11 questions will be covered from module 12 first before we move on to the next module. Is that okay? Now, from module 12, the first question is from the objective, disprove conjunctures by using counterexamples. First of all, a counterexample in maths is used when the conjecture is false. So let me explain what exactly it means. Okay. Now let's see some sample questions, how questions can be formed from this lesson. For example, now, the questions from this lesson according to the schedule are example 5 and questions 18 to 23. So, the multiple choice questions are framed from these questions. Example question is already solved for you. Now, let's start from sample question 1. This question asks, determine whether the conjecture is true or false. Find a counterexample for any false conjecture. Only if the conjecture or the statement is false, you can give a counterexample. The counterexample should prove that the conjecture is false. Now, what is the conjecture here? If n is a prime number, then n plus 1 is not prime. It says it's not prime. So let's see the truthfulness of the statement. Do you think the statement is true? Is there any number that you can prove the statement is false? For example, you have to take n, which is a prime number. Let me try with the prime number 2. So if n is equal to 2, then n plus 1 will be 2 plus 1, which is 3. And you all know that 3 is also a prime number. But what does your conjecture say? Conjecture say, if n is prime, then n plus 1 is not prime. But we got, if n is prime, n plus 1 is also prime. So this is a false statement and our counterexample is n equal 2. So option B will be the correct answer. Now let's move on to the next question. Determine whether the conjecture is true and if it's false, give a counterexample. If x is an integer, then minus x is positive. What do you mean by integer? Integers are all numbers, positive, negative, 0, but no decimals, no fractions. So if x is a negative number, that is, for example, if x is say minus 1, then minus x will be minus of minus 1, which is positive, which is true. But if x is a positive number, give me any positive number, for example, x is positive 2, then minus x, will it be positive? No, it will be negative. So, your statement says if x is an integer, then minus x is always positive. No, it's false. See, x equal to, 2 is an integer, but minus x, which is minus 2, is not positive. So this would be a counter example. And this statement is true, so we can't call this as a counterexample. Similarly, you can give any positive number. It's not only with 2. Any positive number, if x is taking any positive value, then negative x will always be negative. So which statement shall I take here? Yeah, see here. X is positive, so minus x will be negative. So answer is B. I just took an example 2. You can see any example. Now, how about question 3? If angles 2 and 3 are supplementary angles, then angle 2 and 3 form a linear pair. It's not necessary that all supplementary angles form linear pair. There are angles that do not form a linear pair, but they are supplementary. You know, linear pair means the angles that are adjacent to each other and forming a straight line. For example, if this is A, this is B. These two angles A and B are called linear pair, and you know linear pairs are always supplementary. But all supplementary angles need not be linear pair. For example, you have two parallel lines like this. You know that these two angles are alternate angles. They are equal. And if you have the angles on the same side of the parallel line, for example, this angle and this angle, they are called consecutive interior angles and they are supplementary, but they are not linear angles here. So it is false. Two angles can be supplementary without being adjacent. Okay. I'll draw a proper figure to make you understand better about consecutive interior angles. When two lines are parallel are supplementary and consecutive interior angles are not linear paired. Let me draw. For example, these two lines are parallel and you have a transversal. Angle A and angle B. These are the two angles I'm talking about. These two angles are supplementary, but are they linear pair? No. So this statement is false. Next, we have if you have 3 points A, B, and C, then A, B, and C are non-collinear. Is it always non-collinear? No, I can have 3 points on the same straight line A, B, C. If the points are on the same straight line, we call them collinear. We don't call them non-collinear. So it's also a false statement because I can give an example of 3 points lying on the same straight line. Next, this is a conjecture which is always true. If ABC is a right triangle, then A square plus B square equals C square. You know this is Pythagoras theorem and which is always true. We don't have any counter example to prove it is false because it says it's right angle. And in right angle, the Pythagoras theorem always works. And here, if the area of a rectangle is 20 square meters, then the length is 10 meters and the width is 2 meters. Is it always true? We can have a rectangle where this can be 5 meters and this can be 4 meters and still the area is L times W, which is 20. So this statement that the length is always 10 and the width is 2 is false. So answer for this statement is option B, because with 5 and 4 also you can have 20 meters square. Next, we have the second lesson in module 2, that is about identifying hypotheses and conclusions of conditional statements and write related conditions. Now, what is hypothesis and conclusion? Hypothesis is the part which is followed by a conclusion. We say if a polygon has 6 sides, then it is a hexagon. So whatever thing follows after the word if is the hypothesis and the conclusion is the later part. And it need not be always that the hypotenuse is written in the beginning of the sentence. Sometimes the hypotenuse can be written at the, hypothesis can be written at the end of the statement, but still you have to judge the statement because of what is the conclusion following. I'll give you an example, you'll understand better. Here in example A, the hypothesis is a polygon has 6 sides. Conclusion will be the polygon is a hexagon. Now look at example B, 3B. Another performance will be scheduled if the first one is sold out. So this first one is sold out will be the hypothesis. Another performance will be scheduled is the conclusion. Here the hypothesis is coming towards the end of the statement, but still you know what follows what. Now look at question number 123. Get a free water bottle with a 1-year membership. You can't get a 1-year membership if you buy a free water bottle or if you buy a water bottle. So water bottle buying cannot be your hypothesis. Getting a 1-year membership will be your hypothesis, and getting a free water bottle will be your conclusion. So which option do you think is your answer? Option B. You have 1-year membership, you get a free water bottle. How do you write using if then form? If you have a 1-year membership, then you get a free water bottle. Okay. So similarly, you have other examples. Here, question 125 says, the intersection of two planes is a line. Here, two planes intersect is hypothesis. Their intersection is a line. If two planes intersect, their intersection is a line. This is A is the answer. One more example, let's see. Everybody at the party received a gift. So a person is at the party, the person received a gift. If the person is a party, then received a gift. So this is the condition which is correct. That is question number 124. Option A will be correct. You understand? Okay. Similarly, I ask you to do the other examples based on hypothesis and conclusion. Next comes the truth statement for conjunction and disjunction statements. A conjunction statement is a compound statement using the word and. And is for conjunction, and disjunction is a statement, compound statement using the word or. Or is for disjunction, and means conjunction. And is represented with this symbol. Can you see? It looks like a capital A without the middle line. So this represents and. And for or, we represent a shape like V. This is for or, okay? So don't get confused. The truth table is, we will be talking about two or more statements. So when both the statements are true, only then the conjunction, that is the and statement, will be true. The rest, everything is false. I repeat, in a conjunction statement, that is when you join two statements with the word and, you have to see the truthfulness of both the statements. If both the statements are true, only then the compound statement using and is true. Whereas in or statement, if any one statement is true, it is true. So if both are true, true. If one is true, true. If one is true, true. But both are false, it is false. So please remember the first, that is true, 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 is common for both statements. False, false, false is also common for both statement. Only the other two, that is for and, both the statements should be true for the statement, compound statement, to be true. But for or, any one statement is true, the compound statement is true. So please remember the truth table. And we talk about negation of statements also here. Negation is, for example, my name is, I want to write my name. So for example, I write my name is Rekha. 1 second. Yeah. If my name is Rekha is the actual statement, my name is not Rekha will be the negation statement. So just by using the word not, we will form the negation statement. And one more thing, if the original statement is true, the negation statement will be false. If the original statement is false, then the negation statement will be true. So remember, negation means is just using the word not. And if the original statement has already not, then remove the not for the negation statement. Let's do examples so that you will learn better. Now, these are the sample questions. There are three statements here. There are three statements P, Q, and R. What we are supposed to do is read the question. If there is any negation, you have to write the negation statement yourself. Now here, first statement, let's see. -3 minus 2 equal -5. Is this statement true? Of course, yes. This statement is true, right? True. That means statement P is true. Let's see statement Q. Vertical angles are congruent. Yes, this is also true. So statement Q is also true. What is statement R given? 2 plus 8 is greater than 10. No, it's not greater than 10. So we don't write greater than 10. Instead, we can write less than or equal to, or we can say not greater than. That will be true. So let's write negation of R. Negation of R will be 2 plus 8 is not greater than 10, or we can write less than or equal to 10. This is also correct. So this statement, that is the negation of R statement, will be true. Because the original statement is false, then the negation will be true. Now let's see what is asked. It's asked for writing the compound statement for, how do you read this? Q or negation R. Remember the V symbol stands for or. What is Q? Vertical angles are congruent, or negation R is what? 2 plus 8 is less than or equal to 10. So which option is that? Here, vertical angles are congruent, or 2 plus 8 is less than. So isn't it B the correct option? Question 82, B is the correct option. Now similarly, let's do question 83. Now what does 83 ask for? The same question, but here you're asked to find the truth table. You know the Q is true, or negation R is also true. So true or true will always be true. Here, first read the question properly. Is it asking the compound statement or is it asking the truth value? Compound statement is just join the two statements. So how do you read this? R or Q. Don't change anything. R is this. Q is this. So which one? This is wrong because this is and. This is the one. R is this. Yes. So 84 is B. Hope you are understanding. How about the truth value? R statement you know is false, or Q statement is true. Because this is or, any one statement is true, it is true. So isn't it true? If it was and, then it would have been false. So I think you can do the next questions yourself using the same policy for truth values and the compound statement. Coming to the next lesson is proving angle relationships. The objective is prove theorems about angles using the angle addition postulates. What is angle addition postulates? See, for example, here you have a big angle ABC. This is the whole angle ABC. And if we have a line or ray in the middle, that is cutting the interior angle ABC like BD, can you see this big angle is divided into two parts? Say, for example, this is A and this is B. So can I say angle ABC is angle A plus angle B? Yep. So this is called angle addition postulate. Okay, if any big angle is divided into two parts, it's not equal parts always, it is just two parts, then the two parts when you add, you get the bigger angle. Hope I'm clear. Let's do some sample questions based on this. Now here the diagrams are not given, so it's better that you draw the diagrams yourself. Or in this case, I think we can use this figure for all these three questions. Calculate angle ABC if angle ABD is 70 and DBC is 43 degrees. Can you see ABC? Let's see. This is A, B, and C. This is the big angle we are asked to calculate. What is given to us? Angle ABD is given. Angle ABD. Isn't it this angle? ABD. This angle is given to you, which is as 70 degrees. And what is the other part given to you? The other part is angle DBC. DBC. This is the one. DBC. This part is given as 43. Now, the two smaller parts are given to you. You are asked to find the bigger part. What will you do? When you are asked to find the bigger portion, then you have to add the two small parts, 70 plus 43. So, isn't it 113? So, this is how you're going to form the angles questions. Remember carefully when to add, when to subtract. When the bigger angle is asked, add. When the smaller part is asked, subtract. Here, because angle ABC is the bigger one, you have to add. Let's see question 14. The bigger angle is given to you and one of the smaller angles is given to you and the other smaller angle is asked. So when the smaller angle is asked, you have to subtract. So it will be 110 minus 36. 110 minus 36. So in this case, you will have 74. What did you do here? Here you added. This is 70 plus 43. Okay. Similarly here, let's see this question. Let me erase this so that the figure is the same. I'll make you understand. The figure is the same for all three questions. You have to take the portions which is mentioned in the question so that you don't go wrong. And whenever the angle is represented using three letters, please try to draw the three lines yourself, not two lines yourself, from the starting point through the middle point to the other point. So when you draw the two lines, you automatically will understand where the angle is. Okay. Now, let's see question 15. Here it says angle EBC is 55. EBC. This angle is 55. Okay. Angle EBD is 20. Angle EEBD. So this part is 20. All right. Find angle 2. So angle 2 is the remaining part. Isn't it remaining part? This part. If the bigger angle is 55, the smaller part is 20. What would be the other smaller part? Will you add or subtract? You have to subtract. So you will have 55 minus 20, which is 35 degrees. So option A will be your answer for question 15. Hope you are able to understand. Yes? Now, these questions are all similar. You can try to do the angles. Now, what are these? Do you know the theorems between the vertical angles and the linear pair? These are very important. Vertical angles means opposite angles when you have two lines intersected with each other. For example, angle 1 and angle 3 are called vertical pair of angles. They are congruent. Similarly, we have the other vertical pair which is 2 and 4 are also congruent. Congruent means they are equal. These are called vertical angles. Remember, whenever two lines cross each other, the opposite angles are called vertical angles and they are always congruent. What about complementary angles? Complementary angles are two angles. When you add them, you get 90 degrees. So here, angle A plus angle B equal 90. We call angle A and angle B as complementary angles. Supplementary angles, when you add two angles, you get 180 degrees. You call them supplementary. Here, angle A and angle B are supplementary because they are linear pair. So linear pair is a pair of angles that make a straight line. Can you see if you add these two angles A and B, you're getting 180 degrees and this is a straight line. So if the two adjacent angles form a straight line, you call them linear pair, and linear pair of angles are always supplementary. That means when you add them together, you get 180. So remember these 3 points when you are answering these questions. Now here, find the measure of each numbered angle. Remember, numbered angle means it's not just finding the value of x. After finding the value of x, you have to find how much is a measure of angle 6, 7 and 8. From the figure, you can make out that angle 6 and angle 8 are vertical angles and they are congruent. But you don't have anything written here about angle 8. You are given only about angle 6 and angle 7. From the figure, if you see that this is a straight line and angle 6 and angle 7, aren't they the linear pair? So do you know that linear pair is always supplementary? So can I add these angles and equate it to 180 degrees? So it will be 2x minus 21 plus, what's this angle? 3x plus 24. 3x plus 24 equal 180. Now you can use the shift solve using your calculator and find the value of x. After finding the value of x, you can find the values of angle 6, angle 7 and angle 8. Okay. So when you calculate, you will get the value of x is 47, I guess. So now you get measure of angle okay, let me write angle 6 will be equal to 73, and you know angle 8 also will be equal to 73 because they are vertical angles. How about angle 7? Angle 7 will be 180 minus 73, which is 107. So you will have angle 7 equal 180 minus 73, which is equal to 107. So which option is giving this? You can see option A gives you the right answer. 6 is 73, angle 8 is also 73, and angle 7 is 107. Okay. Okay, next. Here, you know this angle is 90 and you know this total angle is 180. If this angle is 90, angle 5 plus angle 6 is also 90. But it is given that angle 5 and angle 6 are equal. So how can the 90 be divided into two equal parts? 90 divided by 2, which is 45 degrees each. So which option do you think is correct here? Option D. Okay. Next, we move on to similar questions. Here also you can read the question carefully. Angle 2 and 3 are complementary. Complementary means they together add up to form 90 degrees. And you know this angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4 all together form a straight line. Look at this. Isn't it a straight line? So if 2 plus 3 is 90, 1 plus 4 is also 90. So what does it say? Angle 1 is equal to angle 4. So angle 1 and angle 4 are each equal to 45 degrees. Because angle 2 is given as 28, angle 3 will be 90 minus 28, which is 62 degrees. So which option do you think is the right answer? Will be option 2. Oh, sorry, not option. Option D. 1 minute. 45, 45, 62. Option D will be the right answer. How did you get angle 3? It is 90 minus 28, which is 62 degrees. How did you get other two angles as 45 each? Because if this angle is 90, the other two angles also together should be 90 because this is 180. So because these two angles are given to be congruent, that means 90 divided by 2 is 45 each. That's why angle 1 and angle 4 are 45 and angle 3 is 62 degrees. Similarly, you can try question 19. It says 2 and 4, 4 and 5, they are supplementary and angle 4 is 105. If angle 4 is 105 and 5 will be 180 minus 105, which is 75. Similarly, 2 and 4 also supplementary. So 2 also should be 75. And if 2 is 75, angle 3 will be 105. So which option do you think is the right answer? 2 is 75, 5 is 75 and 3 is 100. I think option C will be your right answer. In this, which formula will you use? 9 plus 10 is 180. First find x, then find values of angle 9 and angle 10. When you find the values of angle 9 and angle 10, you will find that angle 9 is 156 and angle 10 is 24 and x value will be 48. What is the equation you have used? You add them to 180. Okay? You want me to write that step? 3x plus 12 plus x minus 24 equal 180 because 9 and 10 form a linear pair. So you get x equal 48. Substitute the values of x in these two to find the values of angle 9 and angle 10. Okay. All right. Don't leave the value of x as it is because it's not asking the value of x. Instead, it is asking the values of measure of angle 9 and 10. Here, what are these angles called? They are cross angles. So angle 3 equal angle 4. They are vertical angles. I usually insist students to write the value of the x with a greater coefficient, that is 5x is greater. So I request them to write 5x minus 112 equal 2x plus 23. But if you are using the calculator, you can write any, the value or any function on the left side. So it's up to you. So anyway, here it is equal to, it's not like 180, they are vertical angles. So you are supposed to write the equation like this. 5x minus 112 equal 2x plus 23. So you get the value of x as 45, but don't stop there. Find the values of angles 3 and 4 and both are equal to 113 each. So your answer will be A. Next, you have slopes and equations of lines. We are supposed to classify the lines as parallel lines or perpendicular lines or neither by comparing the slopes of the lines. You know how to find the slope first. If two points are given, A x1 y1 and B x2 y2, then the slope of the line joining A and B is given by the formula m equal y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So use this formula to find the slope of the line joining two points. And if there are 4 points, first find the slope of the first 2 points and then find the slope of the other 2 points and check if m1 and m2 are equal, then we say the lines are parallel. If m1 and m2 are not equal, try to multiply them. m1 times m2. If it gives minus 1 as the answer, then you can say the lines are perpendicular. If the slope of one line is m, the slope of the perpendicular line will be negative 1 by m, that is negative reciprocal. So this is about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So if m1 is not equal to m2 and m1 times m2 is not equal to minus 1, then you can say the lines are neither parallel nor perpendicular. So these questions are based on this. We will do a question where it is parallel, one question which is perpendicular, and the other question neither. So that you will understand all three types. Let's try question 29. Here, first thing is asked is, are these lines A, B and C, D parallel or perpendicular or neither? So first step is to find out the slopes of these two lines. You know the slope formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. There are two lines, so we say m1 and m2, okay? So here you know how the points are. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's find the slope of AB. So can I write it as M1? M1 will be 4 minus 5 divided by 4 minus 1. So this is negative 1 by 3. This is the slope of AB. Similarly, you're going to find the slope of CD. For CD, I'm going to write it as M2 equal minus 5 minus 10 will become plus 10 and divided by minus 6 minus 9. Here will be positive 5 and down will be negative 15. So this will also be negative 1 by 3. This is for CD. What did you observe? M1 and M2 both are same, so the lines are parallel. So whenever the lines are parallel, remember M1 will be equal to M2. So try 30 yourself and you will understand whether the lines are parallel or perpendicular. Now let's see example 31. Here we are going to first find the slope of AB using the formula. If you use the formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, then your M1 will be 1 by 7. Similarly, CD, the slope, which is M2, when you find, you are getting negative 1 by 2. Are they equal? They are not equal. When you multiply them, are you getting negative 1? You are not getting negative 1. So they are neither parallel nor perpendicular. So your answer will be neither. Now let's do one example where you can have the lines perpendicular. Here, when you calculate the slope M1 for AB, you are going to get negative 1 by 4. And when you're going to calculate M2 for CD, you are getting the slope equal to 4. So you know that M1 is not equal to M2, but when you multiply M1 with M2, the product is giving you -1. So this is the property of the perpendicular line. So your answer will be perpendicular. Similarly, try the other example by just finding the slopes of the lines AB and CD. Next, we have similar thing, but here we are not given the 2 points. Instead, we are given the lines equations. Now, you know y equal mx plus b is the form where you call m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, isn't it? So let's see, if the slopes are equal, then the lines are parallel. If the slopes are not equal, but the slopes multiply, you get -1, then the lines are perpendicular. If the slopes are not equal and the product is not -1, then you say the lines are neither parallel nor perpendicular. Let's check this question. Now let's check this question 41. Here, find the equation of the line that passes through. Here we are asked to find the equation of the line. We are not asked to find whether the lines are parallel or perpendicular. Instead, we are asked to form an equation. Now, very, very important is you have to read the question twice, because please see whether the line is perpendicular or parallel. Let's read this. Find the equation. You have to find the equation of the line that passes through these points and is perpendicular to this line. Now this is the line y equal half x plus 9. Now this is in the form y equal mx plus b. So your m is 1 by 2. So can I say m1, that is slope of this line, is 1 by 2? Slope of this line is 1 by 2. Second. 1 by 2. We want the slope of the line which is perpendicular to this line. So do you remember, if the slope of this line is 1 by 2, the slope of the perpendicular line will be -2, because it is negative reciprocal. If this is positive, that slope is negative. If this is 1 by 2, that is 2 by 1. 2 by 1, we will write it as 2. So isn't it m2 is -2? Because the lines are perpendicular. If the lines were parallel, then the slopes would have been same. But here, because it is perpendicular, the slope of the line which is perpendicular to the given line is -2. But then we are asked to find the equation. How do we find the equation? Equation will be always in the form y equal mx plus b. You have the m, but you don't have your b. But can you see it is passing through this point? So we can treat these points as x and y. So now let's do this. So this will be your x, this will be your y, to find b. How do you find b? We will write y equal mx plus b. And substitute these values. Y is -4, m is -2, x is -7, and b we don't know. You can use your shift solve and you will get the value of b as -18. When you have your slope, when you have your b, you can write the equation using y equal mx plus b. So your equation will be y equal m is -2, -2x, and b is -18, so it's -18. So the equation is y equal -2x minus 18. Which option is that? A. If it is parallel, then the slopes are equal. But here we don't have any x values. So how do we do this question? It's just given y equals 7. Guys, you remember one thing. When it is only y equals 7, this is y, this is x. Then your y equals 7 will be somewhere here, a line like this, which passes through 7 on the y-axis. Do you agree? So this equation is y equal 7. And we are asked to find a line which is parallel to this line. So all horizontal lines are parallel. But this horizontal line which we require passes through this point. Here, this is x, this is y. So what is the value of y here? Negative 10. So negative 10 will be somewhere here. Let me show you. Let me change this x-axis from here so that I will show you where this negative 10 is. Okay. Say, let me draw the x-axis somewhere here. This is x-axis. Okay. Now I want to draw where is y equal negative 10 is somewhere here. Say this is minus 10 on the y-axis. So isn't this line y equal negative 10? So isn't it the line parallel to y equals 7 is y equal negative 10? Option B. What happens if I ask the line perpendicular to y equals 7? Then the equation would have been x equal minus 1. X equal minus 1 will be the line passing through minus 1 on x-axis like this. This is called x equal minus 1, and this would have been your answer if the question was perpendicular instead of parallel. If it is perpendicular, then your answer would have been x equal minus 1. But because it is parallel, the answer is y equal negative 10. Because all y equal k lines are parallel. Y equal 7, y equal 1, y equal 0, y equal anything. All are parallel. And y equals something and x equals something are always perpendicular. So here, please read whether it is perpendicular or parallel, then decide on your answer. Similarly, we have to find the equation of the line parallel to this given equation. Here, you know the M1 is negative 2 by 3. So if the line is parallel, then the slope of the parallel line is also negative 2 by 3 because parallel lines have same slope. Now you have your slope. You have to find your B using the points X and Y from this point. Now let's find the B. How do you write starting? Y equal mx plus B. So y is given as 2. M is minus 2 by 3. And your X is 6. And your B you don't know. If you use your calculator properly, you will get the value of B as 6. So your equation, the slope is minus 2 by 3 and B is 6. So which option will be correct? Will be option A. Similarly, try to do question 44. Remember, this is perpendicular. So if the slope of this given line is minus 5, your slope will be 1 by 5. So there are two options. Decide on the value of B and check. These both are wrong because they are not parallel. The slopes are not equal. So check for yourself. Then we come to module 12, lesson 9. It's about proving lines parallel. We apply angle relationship theorems to identify parallel lines and find missing values. Remember, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, there are 8 angles formed. The figure given here, it's about not parallel lines. So we don't have any connection between these 8 angles. But if the lines were parallel, as you can see in example 1, the lines are parallel, then we have some connections between these related angles. And we have the objective in this question about parallel lines. It is about parallel lines. So we don't get any unparalleled lines. Now let's see some sample questions. Remember, this is about the converse. So when the lines are parallel, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. So if I say if the angles, alternate interior angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel, it's called converse, where the conclusion becomes the hypothesis, hypothesis becomes the conclusion. Now let's see what is given here. Is it given the lines are parallel here? No. The angles relationship is given. What is given here? Angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. Determine which lines are parallel and which postulate is proving this. 3 and 7. Mark 3 and 7. This is 3. This is 7. So these two are coming from the lines A and B. So we are talking about A and B and they are cross angles inside which we label as alternate interior angles. So check for A and B congruent first and then alternate interior angles converse. So see here A and B converse, A and B parallel you have in A, B and C. Alternate interior angles is only option A. So option A will be your right answer. Option C is not correct because they are not exterior. If we are talking about exterior, then it would have been angle 4 and angle 8 or angle 5 and angle 1. But we are talking about 3 and 7, so they are interior, alternate interior. Okay? Alternate exterior are 5 and 1, 4 and 8. So this option is also wrong and we have only option A as your correct answer. Next, here also just be careful about the angles, which angles are given in congruent or supplementary, then decide on which lines are parallel. 9 and 11. 9 is here, 11 is here. So we are again talking about lines A and B parallel. And you know they are in the same position, so they are called corresponding angles. So first select AB parallel. So we don't have C and D, there's a wrong. In this, alternate interior is wrong because they are not alternate interior, they are corresponding because they are in the same position. See, if you see these 4 angles, you know angle 9 is on the left top. And if you consider these 4 angles, angle 11 is on the left top. So they are called corresponding angles. So we say A is parallel to B and because of corresponding angles converse, these lines are parallel. Similarly, I think you can try to do questions 9, 10, 11, 12. Just see the angles and decide. 2 and 16. 2 and 16. These are coming from lines L and M. And what do you call these angles? They are outside and cross angles. They are called alternate exterior angles. So which is alternate exterior angles and L and M are parallel? That is option B. Alternate exterior angles, isn't it? That's your question number 9, which is option B. Question number 10 is about angle 5 plus angle 12 is 180. 5 and 12 comes from lines L and M. So L and M are parallel, but 5 and 12 are on the same side. Same side and inside. So we say they are consecutive interior angles and they are supplementary. It's given supplementary here. So we say L and M are parallel and consecutive interior angles. So this is the option for question 10. That is option B. Question 11, 1 and 6. Let me change the color. 1 and 6. Where is 1? This is 1 and this is 6. So these lines are from parallel lines G and H, not J. You can see J is not parallel. So G and H. And what are these angles called when you consider G and H? They are in the same position. So isn't it corresponding? So it's angles lines G and H are parallel, and because of corresponding angle converse, they both are parallel. Here 7 plus 6 is 180. Where is 7? This is 7, this is 6. These lines are coming from P and Q. So, and these are inside of the same side is consecutive interior angles of lines P and Q, not G and H. It's P and Q and consecutive interior angles. So option B will be your right answer. Here we have applied the angle relationship between parallel lines and finding the missing angles. So let's do some sample questions. Please, you should be very careful about what type of angles we are talking about. When two lines are parallel, if you want to recall things, let me tell you. If two lines are parallel and we have a transversal, we have 8 angles. Say, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the 8 angles. And here we have different names for these angles. Now we have alternate interior angles, let's say. Alternate interior angles. And when the lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. Now, what are the alternate interior angles in this case? Angles 3 and 5. The other pair is 4 and 6. These are the two pairs of alternate interior angles. Similarly, we have alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles of okay, I think I have to take another textbook for another color. Okay, alternate exterior angles are also congruent. And what are alternate exterior here? Angles 1 and 7. The other pair is 2 and 8. They are also congruent. Alternate exterior 2 and 8. And then we have corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are also congruent. And what are corresponding? They are in the same positions. For example, 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 3 and 7, 4 and 8. These corresponding angles are also congruent. Next, we have consecutive interior angles. Consecutive, let me take this somewhere else. Okay. Next we have consecutive interior angles. They are not congruent, they are supplementary. Now, these angles are not equal, but when you add them, you get 180. So, angle 3 plus 6 equal 180. And the other pair is angle 4 plus angle 5 is also 180. These are consecutive interior angles and they are supplementary. So please remember these before you solve the questions down. Okay. Now let's see. So can you see these? They are in the same side and inside. They're called consecutive interior angles. So are they equal or will you add them and equate it to 180? You have to add them and equate it to 180. So once you do that, you will get the value of x. Here you're asked to find the value of x. You can stop finding the value of x. So the x value, you'll get it as 22. So what's the equation here you're going to do? The equation is 2x plus 6 plus 130 equal 180. So you will get the x value equal 22. Okay. Use the equations carefully. If you use the equations wrong, you will get the value of x also wrong. Now, what are these two angles called? They are cross and outside. Outside means exterior, cross means alternate. So, alternate exterior angles are congruent. So, they are equal. So, I usually write 4x minus 10 equal 3x plus 10. So, what do I write? 4x minus 10 equal 3x plus 10. So when you solve for x, you get the x value as 20. So your option will be, here option is 22, here option is 20. Here, these are cross angles and inside. So it is alternate interior angles and they are congruent. So congruent means equal. So the equation when you form is 8x minus 8 equals 6x plus 4. You get the value of x as 6. Here they are alternate exterior angles. They are equal and you solve, you get x value as 2. You want me to write the equations for these? This is 8x minus 8 equal 6x plus 4. And you get the x value as 6. Here also we have equal 4x equal x plus 6. So you get the value of x is equal to 2. Next, we have, this is something different. It is consecutive exterior angles. Guys, remember if the word is consecutive, that is same side. So always 180, that is supplementary. Okay, they are not equal. This is consecutive exterior angles. It's not mentioned earlier. So please be careful. This is consecutive exterior angles and they are also supplementary. So what would be the equation for this? It's like this. Add them and then equate it to 180. 7x plus 5 plus 5x plus 19 equal 180. When you solve for x, you will get as 13. So you have option D as your answer. These are consecutive interior angles and even here it's supplementary. Add them and equate it to 180 where you get the value of x as 19. So option C. How will you write this equation? 5x plus 18 plus 3x plus 10 equal 180. And the x value after solving it, you get x equal 19. Please see that the question is asking for x or the angle 3x plus 10. Read the question carefully before you answer it. Okay. So hope you understood how to do these questions. Next, we have distance between two parallel lines. Module 12, lesson 10. There were 4 steps and 3 steps to find these distances, but here we have a simple formula for you to find the distance between parallel lines. Please remember this formula and use it when you have questions based on distance between two parallel lines. Now, the distance between two parallel lines formula, shorter version is this. Distance equal absolute B2 minus B1, or you can say B1 minus B2 divided by square root of 1 plus m square. What are these B1 and B2? They are the y-intercepts of the parallel lines. Remember, parallel lines will always have the same slope. So you will not have M1 and M2 different. Both M1 and M2 will always be the same. Now, B1 and B2, they are the y-intercepts in the equation y equal mx plus b form. If you have this equation in this form, y equal mx plus b, this b, when there are two equations, we say B1 and B2. But if you don't have mx, we have only y equal to b, then there will not be any denominator. You need to use only the numerator. When there is no slope, don't use the denominator. For example, let's see question 35. Find the distance between the parallel lines y equals 7, y equal minus 1. Is there any x term here? Is there any slope given here? No. So will you use the denominator part? No. Just use the numerator, that is b2 minus b1. It is absolute value, so the distance will always be positive. So how will you write the equation here? D equal, you can write any number first, but don't forget to put the negative sign in the middle. So can I use B1 minus B2 if you want? 7 minus minus 1. Close the absolute. So it is 8 units. 8 units, this is the option. Here also you don't have any you don't have any slope. So here also directly use B1 minus B2. So distance equal absolute value. If I use minus 6 first, minus 6 minus 5. You know it is minus 11, but because it is absolute, the minus will always come as positive. It's like this, minus 11, which will come out as positive 11. So 11 units is your correct answer. In questions 36 and 37, you have it in the form y equal mx plus b. But you will be wondering, where is b? If there is no b here, you just write as 0. Here also there is no b, so we'll put it as a 0. Now we are going to use this formula. Now, what are the things we require? We write the things which we require. We say b1 equals 0, b2 equals 10, and you know slopes will be always the same. In this case, the slope is 3. So we write m equal 3. And now we use the formula and find the distance. Distance is, 0 minus 10 or 10 minus 0 is 10. So I'm just directly writing 10. And here square root of 1 plus 3 square. Use your calculator correctly. You will get the answer for this question as square root 10 units. square root 10 units, because this is actually 10 by square root 10. So the final answer will be square root 10. Similarly, try this with using the same formula. Here you have your B1 and B2's. This B1 is 0. B2 is 26. And M1, not M1, we have only one M. We have M equal minus 5. And when you use the formula carefully, B1 minus B2 will be 26. And here will be square root of 1 plus 5 square. Just ignore the negative when you're doing the square. So this will be square root 26. 26 by square root 26 is 26. 26 by square root 26 is, square root 26 units. Similarly, I think you can try 39 and 40 using the same formula. With this, we finish module 12, and I'll be recording module 13 and 14 together. So hope this module 12 is very clear for you, and practice more and more questions. I have given reviews 1, 2, 3, 4 on your LMS. Questions are different, so try all possible questions for multiple choice, because you can't rely on same type of questions as shown in this review. Okay, guys, so all the best. I will be recording 13 and 14 modules together in another recording. Let me have a pause. Let me have a break.